Today I want to talk about the fact that if you're watching this video right now, you're probably way luckier than you think you are. We always like to look at the other side of the people that are doing way better than us. Like, look at this guy. He was born rich, or he was born handsome, or whatever. He was a prince. He's a prince. He was born in a royal family, or whatever. I mean, yeah, obviously that's gonna be rare. Some are luckier than you, but we also got to look at the fact that we are luckier than some as well. My bad. And it's coming again. My bad. So, we are luckier than most people. We never really think about it, but I want to talk about this. So, in middle school, I used to have a friend that he was a good friend. I was playing video games with him and stuff. And the thing that was like the most cool to me was that we were always like listening to Juice Wrld and XXXTentacion every night, basically. And yeah, it was, kind of corny. We were just listening to songs, and we had our face cam on, and we were crying and shit. And yeah, it was kind of corny. But he had a real vision. Okay? That dude, was like the guy that was really like going way harder than me. I'm not gonna lie, he had business visions, he had a bunch of stuff. That guy was working hard, right? And then middle school finished, and we went to high school, and we got separated, and I never saw bro for a while, right? And then I meet him in the bus, and he looks way different. He started balding at like 16 or whatever. I'm not laughing at him. I'm just, crazy stuff. And he was saying like, yeah, I gotta make money for my family. I need to, he got like a cashier job. He got a bunch of jobs. He had to balance high school too. He said that he was failing his classes because he had to work all the time, and he sold his laptop, or his PC, my bad. He sold his PC, and he was telling me that, life kind of just hit him, and he was stuck basically in a race of making enough money to, live, to survive. And, he was telling me like he remembers those nights we used to just sit on Discord and just listen to X and Juice WRLD songs. And there was some Uzi in there too, but mainly X and Juice. And he said he wished he could go back to those times and work harder so that he doesn't have to work now. I was like, damn. Because, like I said, he had a real vision, but circumstances got up to him, and him being a, smart guy, it didn't really matter after all, because he just got unlucky, and now I don't even know, my bad. Why? I'm not gonna edit that out, you know me. So it got up to him, right? He was, he had a real vision. But he got unlucky, and now I don't know where he's at. I assume he's still working, but I haven't heard from him in a long time, And that's this example. This guy, he's not that bad. He's still not that bad. There are people that, I have, or ex-friends, I know some people that are now doing some crazy stuff just to make it through the day, you know what I'm saying? People that, all of those people, or maybe not all of them, but most of them were genuinely had ambition at some point. It's interesting. There were fat kids who didn't do shit the whole day, and now they still don't do shit, and they still gonna be fine. Meanwhile, there are guys who were grinding at 12 years old that are now, in the trenches basically, that are struggling to make things. I know another guy who had a whole business and it failed, and now I'm not gonna say what he does, but he does some crazy stuff to get money, and he's still, I assume he's still in high school. I don't know. I mean, he's my age, so I'm finishing high school soon, so I don't know if he finished high school, but yeah, I don't know. Crazy stuff. What I'm saying is, I look at the fat guy playing video games all day. Oh, he just kind of has to study sometimes. And he's complaining about how hard life is. Damn, life is so hard, bruh. It's easy for you to say, you're not fat. Yeah, I'm not fat because I was never fat, but I was skinny, Which skinny is way better than being fat, but still. You have to work to get out of your circumstances, but these people are over here complaining. Meanwhile, their parents cook them their food. You know what I'm saying? They really don't have to struggle. They just have to study or, whatever. They don't even have, they haven't even tried starting a business or whatever because life is too hard. Because I have to pay out of my own pocket. Oh no, the pocket that you got from your, money that you got from, being a good child, the people, some get paid just for being a good, kid, from their grandmas or whatever. Meanwhile, there are guys that genuinely have visions, but it's way harder for them to make it their reality because their circumstances are way, What I'm saying is, if you're watching this video, that means you most likely have internet, unless you're watching this video on I don't know, you went to a library and you're watching this on a computer screen or, you know what I mean? Most likely you have internet, you have a decent phone, right? Most likely you have an iPhone. I mean, most likely if you're watching this, you're probably from the US, but still, just because, I'm not from the US, now I can kick my legs back and be like, oh, life is too hard, I'll just accept it, I was not born in the US. Nah, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to start a business. There are advantages and disadvantages. If you're not in the US, you have a huge advantage starting an online business because most likely you're going to earn more, depending on where you are. Of course, if you're in a higher, what I'm saying, if you're in a country that has a good, that people earn a lot, like the US, and things are expensive, yeah. But, you know, if you're in a country where people earn less and things are less expensive, but people also earn less, I think it's even better to start a business. Sure, it might be harder at first, but you know, the advantages are much bigger to start an online business, because damn near everything that you start will make it so you earn more than what you would normally earn from, you know, even getting a degree and getting a salary and getting a job. You know what I mean? People always like to complain about how hard their life is. But there are people, and they always like to say how this other guy has it way better than me. Yeah, that other guy probably has it better than you. So what? That means we're giving up, you know? Just because this guy has it better than you doesn't mean that you can't have it better than him, or at least have it better. Because it's not about, you know, it's not about comparing yourself. Like I said, like, are you gonna become a billionaire? Probably not. Do you really need to become a billionaire to have an enjoyable ass life? Hell no. You know, I would argue the opposite. You know, like, more money does become worse, I would argue at some point. Like, you know, it's like, just becomes dangerous at that point. You know what I mean? But look at the people that are over here having to work extra hours, having to, you know, take care of other people that are over here grinding on things they don't want to be grinding on. Everybody has to grind on things they don't want to be grinding on. You cannot be like, oh, that guy is lucky because his parents pay for his stuff. Yeah, he's lucky, okay? But that doesn't mean that you are unlucky. That's what I'm trying to say. Sure, he has it easier. Parents pay for his stuff. You can pay for your stuff too. And we never look at the people that have real vision. Real, you know, but we never even look at the people begging on the streets or whatever. They're way unluckier than us. You have a phone that you can watch videos on. That means that there is a way for you to get something, to get rich, or to get, you know, whatever you want. There are people that had it way worse than you and still made it out. You know? Some people from the past would be laughing at your struggles right now. We need to appreciate our blessings more rather than always looking at the people better than us. There will always be people better than us, no matter what. All the time. You cannot, or, you know, there's only one person in the world that's, and even then, no, actually, I'll take it back. It's impossible to be like the best in the world. If you're like the best in the world, you think that someone else is the best. Even if you're the richest, you're not the most handsome. If you're the most handsome, you're not the, you know, most charismatic, right? There will always be someone who's better than you, who's called luckier than you. But there will always be someone who's unluckier than you. And guess what? If you have the luxury, because this is a luxury, to have access to the internet, you can become a person that others would say that you're a lucky one. People used to tell me how I had such bad genetics that because I worked out, you know, since, I don't know, I started swimming since I was like 3, right? And people were like, yo, how are you an athlete and you still, because I was going pretty hard. I was doing competitions and shit. And they were like, how are you an athlete and you're still skinny? You don't have any muscle. You barely weight. I weighed like 38 kilos. 38. And I was 48 kilos is more or less 80 pounds, I think, somewhere around there. And I was like 150, a meter and 50 centimeters. I think that's like 5 foot. I don't know, 5'2", I think, 5'3", I don't know. But yeah, very skinny. Now I'm not 5'2" right now. That's when I was like, I think 12, I think. I don't know. But yeah, they were like, yo, how are you? You work out and you're so skinny. You have horrible genetics. Fast forward, went to the gym, bald. Oh, you have amazing genetics. Look at you. You have full bicep. You have a full chest. Oh my God. I wish I could have your genetics. You're so lucky. You know, people think you're unlucky when you have nothing. But in reality, most people start with nothing. And even if you start with something, you can easily be overthrown. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, that guy has a starter pack. Just work a bit harder. But there was also someone who, you know, who has it way, way, way worse. You know, he has it below zero. You know, they have to work a lot just to be at zero, you know? And that might be you. That might still be you. But if you are watching this video, you have time to watch this video, you have internet, that means there is a way for you to make it in whatever you want to make it on. I assume probably most of you are like trying to get rich, but in whatever, you know, thing that you say that this is not working, dating, the gym, friendship, yeah, you might have it way worse. A lot of these things, by the way, is just your mental, which can be changed without having, you know, to change up your whole damn, I forgot what I was saying. I was kind of slow in this video, no? but I kind of forgot what I was saying. Damn. I think you get the point, though. There are people who have it way worse than you. There are people who, you know, who you probably met. You don't know where they are right now. But they are now, you know, so low. And you're still, you know, somewhat high, even though you haven't done anything to keep yourself afloat. You just got lucky. You know what I mean? Some people got unlucky. And you're still lucky. You know, you were given a second chance. At some point, here's the thing, here's what I want to end it on. At some point, if you continue to not take advantage of these opportunities that you're given, at some point, you will become unlucky too. You know? Like my friend said that he wished he worked harder when he was 12. That's, you know, maybe a crazy statement. But in reality, that statement is true for every age if you become, you know, someone who is stuck in the race. You know? For him, it caught up to him at 12. For others, it's, you know, oh, I wish I worked harder when I was 16. For others, I wish I worked harder when I was 18, or I was 20, 21, you know? I wish I worked harder in college, you know? At some point, everybody becomes unlucky, right? It's inevitable. You have a clock, you know? So You have to take the advantage of the time that you're lucky now, because your luck will run out if you continue to do the things that are not actually going to get you anywhere. You know what I'm saying?